Yeah, that.
In today's video, I'll be continuing my journey along the Baltic Chain route. So far, I've been to a Soviet prison, a KGB prison, and luckily not a real prison, but gained an insight from the post-Soviet Lithuanian life. I'll be heading to Estonia through Latvia, learning more from the people about what life is really like.
They already coming with their drones, with their planes.
And hoping not to get radiation poisoning from a nuclear missile storage bunker. Good afternoon from Riga, Latvia. Just behind me is the memorial to the Soviet occupation for the people of Latvia. When Lithuania declared independence in March 1990, Latvia wasn't far behind. Just 2 months later, they declared independence. Again, as we walk around here, you will see the Latvian flags, the Ukrainian flags, and then the EU flags on a lot of government buildings. I haven't seen as many Ukrainian flags on people's houses, so I don't know if the sentiment here is different from the people, but we'll find out. This is the front of the memorial. So here's the second set of footprints on our journey. Every city has one, and it's right in front of the Freedom Memorial for the Latvian people. We'll go and get a closer look at the Freedom Memorial. So this monument was unveiled in 1935. It's one of the soldiers killed in the Latvian War of Independence. See that there's 2 guards, and they've just been marching up and down here. So a few days ago, the Latvian government actually deported 841 Russian nationals from the country. So I think this shows clearly the government's stance on the Ukraine-Russia war. Where this flag now stands was once a huge Soviet statue. Shortly after the Ukrainian invasion was toppled over, the monument was a dedication to the Soviet soldiers that came here to rid Latvia of the Nazis. So this building in the middle of Riga was known as the Corner House. It was a KGB headquarters from 1940 to 41, and then from 1944 to 1991. As it says on the sign here, the people were imprisoned, tortured, killed and morally humiliated. In the next section we have some testimonials that I managed to record inside. Do you think that Latvia is doing enough to support Ukraine?
I think Latvia can't do enough to support Ukraine, and Latvia does no, I don't think so.
No.
No,
so
I don't think so.
Do you agree that Latvia and the rest of Europe should support Ukraine? Or
yes, I do.
Yeah. You being half Russian, does that affect your opinion on Ukraine? Or
No, my opinion is totally not affected by my nationality or ethnics or stuff like that. It comes from mine, not from the skin color and your ancestors. No, so like that.
Yeah. Do you agree that Ukraine should swap territories, or do you think it's important that they keep all the territory?
I don't think anything about that. I mean,
Do you think like land is land? People's lives are worth more?
yeah, if Ukraine would have given all the territories Russia want, the war would be gone and there would be peace. But Ukraine is a national государство. Ну, короче, Ukraine is a national country, so and these are their territories from their opinion, and they don't want to give them, but Russia wants that. And no.
Do you think the war has affected your life here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. In what ways do you think?
Life became more expensive because of energy resources coming from Russia. They don't really come now, and no, energy is just way more expensive nowadays here in Europe, and also taxes increased and stuff. A lot changed.
If you tell someone about your half Russian side, do you think people have a bad view of this, or do you...
Normal, at least a bit educated people, no cognitive troubles. They don't have any problem with my ethnicity or any other ethnicity, and talking about people who care about it and who think badly. Anyways, I don't care about their opinions.
Yeah.
No one shouldn't.
Do you think the rest of Europe has done enough?
Has done enough for what?
To support Ukraine, because the Baltic countries are the highest donors. So it's countries like England or even America, do you think they've done enough? Or
yes, they have done enough and more than enough, but it's not really support. But I'm not that fluent in English and I don't want to talk about this. But it's not fully support, it's not only support. Nothing comes for free. It would be very hard for Ukraine after the war. It's very fucking hard for now, insane, and it will be insane.
the next day, I was on my way to Tallinn, Estonia, to find out what the people there thought of the Russian-Ukrainian war. When Lithuania gained independence in March 1990, 2 months later, Latvia joined them. It took Estonia another year, in August of 1991, to gain their independence. 1 month after this, the USSR recognised the independence of all Baltic states. So just come across this shop, it's the Ukrainian symbols shop, and I asked the owner if I could ask him some questions regarding how Estonia and the Estonian people feel about Ukraine and the war in Ukraine and what side it's on. If you look up the road there, you might not be able to see it, but there is a Russian flag hanging. Why did you open this shop?
I opened this shop to earn money for me, but also to help my friends from Ukraine, to help Ukraine defeat Russia. So I always donating to armed forces of Ukraine, to my friends. Some of them are military now, some of them are military volunteers, and that's why.
So how long have you lived in Estonia?
6 years.
So when you heard about the war in Ukraine start and you lived here, did you think that Estonia would be next?
At that moment, no. But after that, maybe in 1 year or something like this. I think, and now I know that Estonia can be not only Estonia, Finland, Poland, Lithuania, Litva can be not only the next, they can be now.
Yeah.
While Ukraine is warring with Russia, Russia can come here or come. They already coming with their drones, with their planes, with their warships. So, SABUA, it is a SABUA organization who are supporting Ukrainian army. It is Arkady Babchenko and other people. These things I bought from different people in Ukraine and brought here.
So is this a wing of a drone?
Yeah.
It's a shattered drone.
Yeah.
And then the javelins.
Second Iran. Yeah. It is Russian drones. Yeah.
And then you have all the flags from the different brigades. Is that? Do you think that Estonia or the rest of Europe could do a lot more to help Ukraine?
Everybody can do more.
Yeah.
Even we're talking about a country or about myself or about somebody else. Yes. Yeah. But Estonia and all Europe now have to do more for themselves. Yeah. Because when Russia will come here, Estonians and other countries have to be better than Ukraine in 2022 and in 2014, because Ukraine before 2022 it was too small preparing for the war. Yeah, it's a pity, but it is true.
Yeah. Do you think that Europe and America should have stepped in 2014?
Should
step in and help Ukraine in 2014 and not wait till 2022?
Yeah, sure. After Russia occupied Crimea, not wait for Donbass, only Crimea. It is great reason to beat Putin his hands. Yeah, so.
What would you hope the outcome of the war would be?
What will be the future? What will be the end of the war?
Like, do you hope that at this point, do you hope that Ukraine gets all its territory back? Do you think they should stop the war and keep it at the lines of the territory, or?
All territories we will return, but when? In 5 years or in 50 years, in 100 years, but it have to be done, and Russia should be defeated. It's a pity, but Russians all over the world are very angry, almost all of them thinking that only their nation are higher above all other nations. Only the Moscow Orthodox or Moscow Patriarchate is only one true belief, and all others and Russians are saying that they can repeat. They can come to Berlin again. Yes. So.
Yeah. How has the war affected your life here? Do you have family in Ukraine that you worry about, or friends?
Yeah, sure. I have family in Ukraine, friends in Ukraine. Yeah, the war very affected life in Ukraine the most. In Europe, maybe Europeans think that yes, it is affected because many money, they given to Ukraine, but it is nothing if comparing with Ukrainians in Ukraine.
Why do you think that the Baltic countries have such a strong relationship with Ukraine?
Because Baltic countries knows very well who Russians are. So they know that Russians 100 years ago occupied these countries, killed these people, and now they are doing the same. But now they are even the worst.
Yeah. So the gentleman inside the store told me that he has been harassed a few times. He's had people post videos on Instagram, posting reels, basically telling people to shoot the store, burn it down. He's had people say that they're throwing rocks at the shop. But yeah, I think it's very brave of him to stand up for what he thinks and to keep the store open. But yeah, as we look down the street, I don't know if you can see because of the glare, there is a Russian flag there. He did say that he doesn't really get harassed much if they're not drunk, or if he says Slava Ukraine to them, they just go quiet. So as we get closer to the flag here, there's all these flags and protest signs everywhere. And I've just asked the police, and it's the Russian embassy, so that's why there was a huge Russian flag there. That'll make sense now. But yeah, you can see where everyone's stuck stuff up, condemning the war. So I'll pause here quickly to explain the meaning of this, and this poster mentioned a man named Navalny. For a long time he was the only opposition to the Kremlin and Putin, and formed an anti-corruption campaign against them. Putin obviously doesn't like having dissenters in his country, especially ones that were gaining as much attention as Navalny was.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny is in intensive care and unconscious in the hospital after apparently being poisoned, according to a spokeswoman.
The Kremlin poisoned him in 2020 with the Novichok nerve agent, but he survived the attempt and recovered in Germany. When he returned to Russia in 2021, he was immediately arrested. He then died 3 years later in prison. The Kremlin tried to downplay this and said he died of health problems while on a walk. The posters are here outside the embassy, as it's widely accepted that his death was not of natural causes.
Where is this?
I'm guessing they just have police on standby the whole time, just in case something kicks off. Again, as you walk around all these cities, there's the country's flag, the Ukrainian flag, and then a European flag on most of the government buildings. So that's the Cultural Minister's building. So it seems like they're not having the same problem that Lithuania is having with the Cultural Minister at the minute. So this is Freedom Square in Tallinn. As you can see, they put the Ukrainian and the Estonian flag up. So as you walk around here, you'll still see a lot of the Russian Orthodox churches around here. Currently, the Russian government uses these places to try and push Russian propaganda around the countries. There was a lot of them in Ukraine, but they recently tried to shut them all down. So after asking some locals, we've finally found the third set of footprints. So the footprints, as it says on here, went all the way from Tallinn, Riga to Vilnius. So according to the lady who now owns the Cuckoo Club, this was the original site of the Cuckoo Club, where the Baltic Chain revolution had its beginnings. So this is the site of the new Cuckoo Club. The woman inside told me that the original one was around the corner. It's called Freedom Square. So this is the Tallinn Linner Hall, originally known as the Lenin Palace for Sports and Culture. It was completed in the 1980s and it was used for water sports for the Moscow Olympics because Moscow was inland and didn't have any access to water. So the Soviets decided to build this grand hall just for the water sports. They also had an ice rink inside. The skating rink and the concert hall were both closed in 2010, but the concert hall was actually featured in the film Tenant. You can see here all the entrances are blocked off or barbed wire. So as we walk to the top of it, we should be able to see the Baltic Sea. So as we walk up here, you can see the Gulf of Finland. So this is where they would have done the water events for the Moscow Olympics in 1980. Estonia is making a massive effort to try and rid the city of anything Soviet at the minute.
Да, суслика видишь нет, а он есть, я понял. Ну опять же вот райончик тоже.
This is all what's left of it now. It's just been left. The councils have tried to come up with plans to rejuvenate it, but nothing's ever stuck. But I think they're just keeping it as a reminder. These are the entrances again, all blocked off or barbed wired. Here's another entrance that's been blocked off. You see they just put this metal in the way so you can't get in. And blocked out all the windows. This behind me is the Patry prison, or the Patry Sea Fortress. It was constructed in the 1800s under the Tsar of Russia. They lost this in the Crimean War, but then in World War II it was used by the Germans as a concentration labour camp. The Russians also then took over and used it for the same purpose. For the Estonian people, it's one of the most prominent symbols of Soviet and Nazi occupation. It's currently being restored and should open next year in 2026, a full museum. So I'm here behind the History Museum of Estonia, and this whole park is filled with old Soviet statues. So these statues were put up after World War II when the Soviets regained control of Estonia from Germany. They were immediately put up and any Estonian independence statues were ripped down and these were all put in their place. So when Estonia gained independence again in 1991, all these statues were ripped down and just left in gardens, in overgrown gardens, just to rot. They were planned to be used for scrap metal, for other statues. They were planned to be melted down or just abandoned. Some statues were even built as late as 1989 by the Estonian Communist Party. This was then abandoned and left in an overgrown garden. And it's not just your Lenin or your Stalin statues that you get. There's a lot of statues to Estonian Communist Party members, and they were put up all over Tallinn. So this statue of Stalin was actually ripped down in the 1960s following his death, after the news come out of all the atrocities that he'd committed. Statues like these are put up to remind the people who is in power, especially the fact that they ripped down any Estonian War of Independence statues to erase any Estonian culture, any thought of independence from the people. They wanted the people to just be Russian, and that was it. So I've just come to go to the gun range, and they've just told me that's an hour's wait. Probably should have booked it. But when I was looking on the maps, I found out that they still have the 1980s Moscow Olympic torch. Or what they set on fire anyway. And over there in the distance they still have the symbol. So we'll go over to that in a minute. But yeah. So yeah, in this little harbour part, you can see there the 1980s Moscow Olympics symbol. Just in case you couldn't see it in the GoPro picture, here's a closer look at it. So I've just caught a taxi half an hour outside of Tallinn. I'm on the lookout for a supposed missile bunker in the middle of these woods. Absolutely no idea where I am. But let's go look for it. So here it is. So this complex was part of a bigger missile base. I think a lot of the buildings have been destroyed, and there's still remnants over there of some parts, but this is the main part that's survived. So the base operated from 1959 to 1991, and it was used up to 1989. So between 1968 and 1970, it housed anti-aircraft guns. In the 70s, it had nuclear-tipped missiles in here. It's just a concrete shell. I wonder what this was used for. pretty amazed that it's still here and the entrance hasn't been blocked off. I'm actually quite amazed that this is the only thing that's been left standing and that it's just been left open. But yeah, it's just in the middle of these woods. Half an hour drive outside of Tallinn. So this just shows the side view. So any reconnaissance planes flying over wouldn't have been able to see or tell there was something there. Ooh, that window's getting over here. Try not to fall. No, nothing. Mostly teenagers just on the flares now. This is underneath of the bunker. Mr. Beast gets fucking everywhere. You can't escape him. Even in a Soviet bunker in the middle of the woods in Estonia, Mr. Beast still managed to get there. So we're coming to the back of the bunker now. Let's see if there's something here. Oh, there is. Yeah, fuck that. Oh, so there's more structures here. So this all would have been part of the base then. I'm not even sure what these structures could be. If somebody knows, can enlighten me. Maybe garages for parking the vehicles. Okay, so I bigged myself up and I thought, you know what, let's go and have a look. Let's go in and have a look. It just seems to be these few rooms here. Some nice comforting messages. So this is the back of the silo. You can see that. These would be the operation rooms. Yeah, let's get out of here. So I've just come to the left side of the bunker now, and I found this. I'm not sure what it is, but to me, looks like someone's buried a car. I don't know if it could be, like I say, a buried car, or some sort of shooting point. If you look through there, try and get in. It's not tight. You could use that as a point to shoot at people. But I don't know if the resources were getting low and they decided to start using old cars as protection and just cover them with stone. But yeah, I'm not sure what this part is. Couldn't imagine it being a very good point to be shooting from, with there being this hill here as well. But yeah, if anybody knows what this is, I could shed some light on it, let me know. My time in the Baltics has taught me a lot about the past. Here's a list of the losses during the Soviet occupation. Present.
It could be the last time that we can stand here.
Can be not only the next, they can be now.
And the future of these countries. A people that broke free from a regime trying to stop them from being individuals has only strengthened their individualism and made their own identity stronger. The people I talk to have learned from the past and are doing everything not to have it be repeated.